I think this is something which will positively surprise the market. Though, of course, over the last few weeks, few months, I think analysts have been trying to kind of, build a case for optimism. But I think these are numbers which are going to surely positively surprise the street, and will kind of usher in a new kind of a phase where you will see continuous upgrades for the technology sector as a whole. So I think this is truly a positive development, and I think it could lead to a pop-up in the stock prices of the technology sector. But having said that, of course, we have to keep in mind that in the short term, the strength of the rupee, I think, is something which could also influence the stock price. But I think keeping that aside, truly on a standalone basis, I think the numbers are excellent. And I think this is something which will definitely provide some short-term gratification to the markets.
Actually, going forward, Infosys is guiding at the dollar to the rupee at a rate of 47 to a dollar. So we'll talk to Bala about that and where he expects to see the currency headed. Nilesh, morning, the most bullish targets going right now on Infosys are about 106 rupees per share in terms of earnings and a price of about 2,800. What do you think the stock could support after what they've reported today?
Well, I think from a pure support point of view, I think the fact that they're talking of a guidance of 100 rupees a share, which means that I think they could do anywhere between 102 to 104. They could close the year probably around that. Give it some kind of a base multiple of 20 times, because broadly the entire market is trading at about 20 times. So I think somewhere around 2,000, 2,100 should be a good floor for the price, unless, of course, the market collapses or anything like that. But I think assuming normal market conditions, I think 2,000 to 2,100 should be a good support level for the stock price. But I think on the upside, the room is going to definitely be a lot higher on the upside, because I think given the recent strength of the technology sector, I'm sure a lot of investors would have trimmed positions on the technology side. A few of them would still be underweight. So I think there is clearly a very strong case for investors to kind of, get back into technology with this kind of a guidance picture that they have given. The other thing which I think is very relevant, may not be directly connected to the numbers, but is the fact that in the last few sessions, telecom as a sector has fallen out of favor. And I think that a lot of investors would probably kind of look at reallocating, some amount of portion to technology from telecom. Though, of course, fundamentally not connected, not correlated, but I think that would also be, provide a strong boost to the prices of technology stocks.
I think that's an important point. These are kind of the sexy must-have sectors in the portfolio of any fund manager, anyone who's running, a position in India.
Absolutely, Mithal. I think it's a very valid point. And I think there is connection between the sector, not fundamentally, but, when a guy has missed out on the India frenzy over the last few days and he's just wanting to put down some top-down money, he looks at 5 stocks. I mean, we can talk about 200 stocks and mid-caps in this. He will say, do I need to buy Reliance, L&T, Infosys, Bharti, etc., and then the rest of the pack will come. And in that, if there is crosses against the box of Bharti right now, etc., then it probably means a lot more money for stocks like Infosys, TCS, which are benchmarks in the IT sector. I think what this does, Mithali, also effectively is probably raise Infosys to buy every dip category. If there is a market fall, Infosys comes down, as Nilesh said, supported at 2,000. People will just say that every time we get Infosys at 20p multiple now, we got to be buying now. And that earlier stigma associated with no growth and therefore much lower, much bigger discount to market multiples, that all is going out of the window slowly. After this quarter's numbers, people will slowly get the feeling that from a business point of view, things have changed around. And from every quarter onwards now, you will see higher and higher growth. The only concern would be if the rupee very quickly goes to, say, 45 to the dollar, and that might create a little bit of turbulence. But otherwise, Infosys will be bought on every dip.
There's some conservatism, though, about what they're guiding for.